The following is a presentation of the Chicago Bears Network and ChicagoBears.com. Download the Chicago Bears official mobile app for up-to-the-minute Bears content every day. And now, welcome to Bears All Access, your all-access pass into Chicago Bears football. Bears All Access is brought to you by IGS Energy and sponsored by Athletico Physical Therapy and CDW.
Great couple of days up here at Hallis Hall. Bears opening training camp. Pads aren't on yet till Monday, but a pleasant good evening to everyone. I'm Jeff Joniak. Well, my broadcast partner, Tom Thayer from News Radio 105.9 WBBM. Welcome in, everybody, to 670 The Score. We're brought to you by IGS Energy. Our producer, Jordan Tredup, and Cesar Perez tonight handling things at The Score. Big Tom Thayer, a lot to break down, a lot of things to look at. I'm going to start the whole proceedings, though, with Luke Getsy today on the progress of Justin Fields.
So far from where we started, for sure. We still have a long way to go, though. As far as like attacking the system and the knowledge of the system, what's going on around him, I think he's done a great job with that part of it. Now it's just getting the experience in those reps. And the cool part about it is, in a couple more days we get to put pads on. This thing gets to be real. These helmet practices are great because you get timing and rhythm and stuff like that. But this game is a feel game, and the only way you get the real feel is if it's the real thing. And so these reps that'll be coming down the road here will be super important for him. And
they sure will. Tommy's basically echoing what you say all the time.
Right. Well, Luke is exactly right. I'm not a fan of no-pad football. However, from what we've seen carry over from the OTAs of the mandatory minicamp now into training camp, the speed in which they're playing with, they're practicing with, is impressive. And I think everybody can benefit from that, even though they're not in pads. They are being as aggressive as you can be without pads on. And I think once next week gets here, it's going to be interesting to watch that whole process that Luke talks about the tempo of practice, about the readiness of the team once they break the huddle, and the understanding by everybody. So, you're going to get guys like Riley Reif have a better understanding of the system by the time they get into full pad. So, there's a lot of competition out there, a lot of specific competition at positions, but there's nothing like padded football because that's what everybody wants to see. But like I said, I'm encouraged at the speed in which they're practicing at.
Yeah, Riley Reif at left tackle a little bit today, rotating with Braxton Jones. Tevin Jenkins not at practice today at right tackle. And then Senator Lucas Patrick left, uncertain reasons why, but we'll learn more maybe here in the coming days. Overall, Tom, execution offensively, not as smooth today, but there were also some big plays. And we're going to talk to Justin Fields coming up at around 6:10, a couple of segments for about 20 minutes with Justin Fields, our interview with him. Overall, Tom, Luke Getsy wants to see the execution clean up.
Yeah, no, so Coach created really good situations for us. So what we've done situational football, but we've kind of isolated those situations. What Coach did a great job today was putting them in to in the middle of the practice spontaneous, so the guys didn't have a chance to prepare, if you will. And so those were great reps. You saw we jumped twice, and then we came back and did it a third time, and we executed it really well. That's something that we talked about as a staff that we want to do more of, instead of just putting it at the end of practice and saying, hey, this is how we do it. Let's actually put it in the middle of practice and let these guys react to it. So that's exactly why we did that, so we can make sure that these guys can stay poised and not let that chaos that happens when you're trying to beat a replay, or was it a catch, not a catch, and we're trying to run, and then now the defense makes a call on the front, trying to get you to jump, and then that's what we did. We did jump.
And hurrying up to get to the line of scrimmage time. Tempo.
Yeah, but I like the way the coaches are scripting the practices, Jeff, because I think everybody, every segment, no matter where you're on the field, what the down and distance, everybody can benefit from it. Because once the players go home, that's really when the coaches' meeting starts. And then they have to get together and they have to script the plays they want to see run the next day. And then they can put the players in some pressurized situation that they can get an evaluation of how they react to it. Is it an immediate snap count? Is it a one decision read by Justin Fields? Are they putting pressure on an isolated cornerback? Is there a mismatch between a tight end and maybe a linebacker and a safety? So it is fun, but you really have to pay attention to practice to look at the countless hours these coaches are putting in to making sure these scripts are not only putting pressure on the players, but but they're going to benefit them in the long run.
We talk about Cole Kmet all the time, about a breakout season for him. Again, top 10 in yards, targets, and catches over the last week 9 to week 17 of the season last year. Back shoulder throw on the seam today from Justin Fields. It's something significant.
Yeah, I mean that's a throw we've been working a lot this offseason. So it was pretty cool to execute that today down the field. Yeah, knew exactly where he was going to throw that with the leverage I had on the guy, and that was really cool to see. So we'll definitely build on that.
And build on the Mooney relationship. So you got Kmet, you got Mooney. That's where Justin is going right now with some clarity and some chemistry, Tom.
Yeah, but Jeff, you talk about Cole Kmet, you talk about Darnell Mooney, talk about Jalen Johnson, talk about Eddie Jackson, because these are the guys that are going to have the coverage responsibilities against these talented receivers. So when I go back in practice, not necessarily watching teamwork, watching one-on-ones, see how Cole Kmet and Eddie Jackson play against each other and who's the most disruptive force when they're going wide receiver, defensive back one-on-ones. Just like I think it's going to be incredible battles between Jalen Johnson and Darnell Mooney through the training camp practices. In another one, pay attention to this one, Velus Jones versus Kyler Gordon, because I think you're going to see a significant amount of reps, and when the pads come on, listen, man, I've never been a big fan of one-on-ones with wide receivers and defensive backs because it's kind of unrealistic. But these battles that are developing in the early stages of our camp are going to be fun to watch.
And they're playfully jawing with each other a little bit, those two, Velus Jones Jr. and the second-round cornerback. Couple of big plays today. Eddie Jackson with a pick six, and Lamar Jackson, 6'2", 208. Noticed him in minicamp. The body is just ideal for that position. He's long, athletic, a second-year man out of Nebraska, free agent added to the roster in 22 here, Tom. You pointed him out, too, to me today.
Right. The young kid out of Nebraska, defensive back, 6'2", 200 pounds plus. But then you got Harry, the wide receiver that they recently brought in. These are a couple of interesting guys to pay attention to see if they're going to earn their opportunity to win jobs in this field. And N'Keal Harry, big guy, is going up, can high point the ball, can run through defensive back coverage. And when you talk about how important it is for Justin to have these types of targets, I think there's going to be a lot of competition out there on the offensive side of the ball.
Time for a break, Tom. When we come back, we'll visit with Justin Fields. QB1 joins us here on Chicago Sports Radio, 670 The Score. Welcome back to Bears All Access, brought to you by IGS Energy. Choose clean energy for your home at IGS.com, because every good choice adds up to a better world. Training camp underway with Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak, and pleased to be joined by the starting quarterback of your Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. I know your time is valuable, so we appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know saying something like being excited is an understatement, but how excited are you? Because you're the guy. And this is your team now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if there was a skill, I don't think I can, name that skill. I think everybody in the building's, very excited to get things going. And, I think everybody's had a great break and, been working very hard. So, everybody's just excited to, finally get to play some real football now.
Did you need a little bit of time just to reset a little bit after the offseason? A lot to learn, a lot of people to get to know. You got so many new teammates, and just put yourself in the right frame of mind to begin this process.
Yeah, for sure. I think, a good reset is always needed, especially, with the length of this season. It's finally time to lock in now. So, again, everybody's here, everybody's focused, and everybody's ready to get going.
Justin, I got to ask you one fun question before we get to the seriousness of football. When you stood at home plate at Wrigley Field and you hit a home run out of that stadium, did that surprise you? Because for you and the rest of the guys that were able to hit home runs, I've been in that park my whole life growing up in this area. Did it surprise you when you were able to take it out of the park?
All right, so I'll tell you everything that went down. So I think I was the fourth guy to go, and then I saw three guys that didn't really. Cole went before me, but I knew Cole was the only guy that played baseball seriously. But when I saw two other guys, they were hitting ground roll doubles, one hop in the fence. I was like, all right, I might be able to get one out. So after I saw that, I hit my first one. It wasn't that deep. And the second one that I hit, I mean, it went, out of the stadium, like you said. So it was just crazy being there, crazy having that experience. And, it was just a awesome moment for, everyone on the team. So, yeah, it was crazy for sure.
Well, impressive because it's something I know I couldn't do. But one of the similarities, my first year with the Bears, I came to the Bears after they got beat in the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. And really, my first year was so competitive. You're trying to earn a position, trying to earn respect. It wasn't a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It was just hard work. Is this year, do you feel it's going to be a lot more fun because of what you went through last year?
Yeah, I think, if you're not having fun playing football, then you kind of, just have to take a step back because, excuse me, but kind of just have to take a step back because, we've pretty much everyone on this team has been playing football, since a young age. So, I think a lot of guys, once they stop having fun with it, then, they, start playing the game for the wrong reason. But, yeah, just, being able to have fun, being able to get out there and, feel like a little kid again and just kind of play with your teammates and, build that relationship throughout the season. And, at this point in time right now, I think it's, great for everyone. So, I'm excited for this year and, just the laid backness of the coaches and just kind of how they, go about things. When it's time to work, but they also know how to have fun at the same time. So I think we have a great culture here for sure.
Bears quarterback Justin Fields, our guest here on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. This is Bears All Access, and it's brought to you by IGS Energy with Tom Thayer, Jeff Joniak. I want to go back to the baseball thing for a minute because talk about being a little kid. Yeah. I watched the Bears do the documentary 1920 Football Drive. I do the voice over it, but I didn't get to go to Wrigley Field with you guys. But it wasn't just the home run derby. It was bags. It was stacking of the cups. And just seeing the raw enthusiasm and the childlike reaction to being somewhere other than a football field really stuck with me. That you guys, and I think you alluded it earlier this week at the news conference here at Hallis Hall, that you feel the team is closer this year, which is strange to say a little bit because there's only 27 guys still here from the 63 that wound up on the roster at the end of last year. So was that a terrific experience just for off the field bonding and just to be just the raw fun of being a kid again?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience, kind of my first, time doing something like that, just being in that environment, being at Wrigley. It was awesome, just kind of hanging out with their people there too and kind of learning the history there. We got to go to the locker room and stuff like that. So again, just having everyone, in the locker room, on the field, all just bonding with each other. I mean, it was an awesome time.
And we shouldn't doubt your ability to knock the ball out of the park because you were an excellent baseball player. Did you have visions of being a pro baseball player ever?
I did, my late years of high school. I didn't play baseball my senior year of high school, but my junior year I did. And then, of course, I graduated high school early to go play football. But, my dad really pushed me as a baseball player, probably more than I wanted to be pushed. I think football was kind of, my first love. But, baseball, I grew up playing baseball since a young age too and, doing travel and all of that stuff. So, just, of course, just, having that and, playing, I guess, at a top level, baseball kind of all my life. You kind of do have those aspirations of, I could be a Major League Baseball player.
Did you pitch?
I pitched a little bit, but I stopped pitching around 14 years old, so, yeah.
Komet was something, though, Tom.
Yeah, Komet,
I mean,
crazy.
Yeah. He looked like Mickey Mantle up there.
Yeah, I mean, he was hitting him out with these. I mean, just seeing Cole up there, I definitely didn't see that coming for sure.
Well, I will say as an ex-offensive lineman, I'm more impressed with Tevin Jenkins being able to crush one out just to give the big guys a little bit of their due.
Yeah. Little love.
Just when this off season, when I was watching the speed in which the defense was playing in all of OTAs and minicamp and everything, how beneficial was that for you in order to practice against the defense that is playing at that speed?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of our team qualities is, always play fast and finish fast. So, just seeing a defense, always trying to punch the ball out, always trying to create turnovers, that's definitely going to help me. It's going to help, everyone on offense just kind of see their energy and, of course, once that season rolls around, them having multiple turnovers a game and, creating chaos for the other team's offense, that's just going to help the whole team.
From the first play you called at the beginning of OTAs until the last play you called at the end of the mandatory minicamp, did it seem like an entirely different operation because you became more familiar with it? You started to understand the talent. You understood what the help that you were getting out of the offensive line. And you got Mooney, you got Cole, you got Montgomery, guys that you're familiar with. Did it feel like a different operation at the end of the OTAs and minicamp than it did at the very first day?
Yeah, for sure. Luke Getsy, he kind of threw a lot at us, the whole OTAs, whole mini camp. So I think, towards the beginning of it, guys were kind of swimming. Guys were just trying to find their way, making sure they know everything to do. But, of course, as we got along through OTAs, through mandatory mini camp, guys were feeling more and more comfortable. So I think that's going to be the biggest part of camp is just, building every day, getting more and more comfortable and making sure, guys are, locked in the whole time and, just staying healthy. So, but I think, the more, we're in this offense, the more reps we get, it's just inevitable, just the amount of comfort that we're going to feel in this offense and stuff like that. So
Justin Fields, our guest here on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. Tom and Jeff with you. We'll have Justin for another segment as well, wrapping up this one. Can you describe what your welcome to the NFL moment was that you can build off of?
Very easy. I think everybody knows that one. But what was it? Second preseason game last year, Bills. I put a double move on the backside and, was hot, and the linebacker came and crushed me. I mean, the hit definitely looked worse on TV than it felt, but that was definitely, welcome to the NFL moment for me, for sure.
That was the smelling salts that you didn't need, right? Right. But, you've taken some pops. I mean, everybody goes back to the college tape, and we remember the big games, that Clemson game, for example. But, you are, Coach talked today about being resilient. Ryan Poles talked about being resilient. Do you feel you are?
I am. I think there's been a lot of things thrown at me in my life, and of course there's going to be more things that are thrown at me in the future, but you just got to, push through those things, get through those things, and, just keep a mindset that, you're never going to be fazed by anything, and, whatever you may go through, you can get through it, and you are going to get through it. So you have to be really resilient to, whatever, might come through your life, whatever challenges you might face.
Justin Fields, our guest. Let's take a break. With Tom, I'm Jeff, and this is Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. This segment of Bears All Access is brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy. Visit athletico.com to request an appointment in clinic or virtually and start feeling better tomorrow. Justin Fields, our guest for one more segment here on Bears All Access, and we're brought to you by IGS Energy.
Justin, I can't let you get away without this. I went to Notre Dame. You went to Ohio State. Yeah. First game of the college season.
First game of the year.
What do you expect there? Notre Dame's got a new head coach. I've never been to Ohio State. I know the historic horseshoe and everything, but what do you think about that game?
Yeah, I think the Buckeyes are at least going to win by 14 points. So I'm excited to see my boy CJ out there balling out. Of course, my guy Jackson Smith and Jigba going crazy. But I definitely think the Buckeyes are going to take that one home for sure. First game.
Have you been back to a college game since you've been in the NFL?
I haven't, but I think we might have that day off, so I might be able to make it back to Columbus to make that one. So as long as we don't have anything on our schedule, we don't have anything to do here, I'm gonna try my hardest to get back there and catch that one for sure.
Well, here's the deal. I'm gonna throw something on the table for you guys. So you guys are dog lovers. You have the same kind of dogs. An Ohio State win, Tom's babysitting. He's going to take care of business. He's going to walk the dogs for a week, maybe.
Yeah.
And and you're going to be too busy to walk his dog. So
anytime you need someone to take care of your dogs, dude, I'm there for you. Yeah. They can come in here and hang out with my 3 Frenchies, and we'll have a great time.
Hey, what is it with the Frenchies? Why do you two love that particular breed?
I don't know. I got Uno in my sophomore year in college, so I think I was just how cute they were, and I kind of like small dogs because you can kind of treat them like puppies their whole lives. So and of course you don't have to pick up their poop that's human size. So it's not too bad. Just I just love Frenchies for some reason. I have no idea.
How about you?
I got introduced to him from the space I was living in downtown Chicago. I knew that you didn't have to go on those extreme walks with them. They're just great companions and fun to be around.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Justin, I have another question. So, as an ex-offensive lineman, if we went through a coaching change, I could still watch my games from last year because I'm just looking at specific offensive line techniques, traits, and fundamentals. Mm-hmm. As a quarterback, do you go back and watch the tape from last year, or do you watch instructional tape that your new coaches have brought aboard to kind of look how the offense is going to look and how it's going to work?
Yeah, so I actually went back and watched last year too, just what decisions I made, what I would maybe do this year compared to last year, and of course, just how I played, what mistakes I made and stuff like that, just to learn from. But I'm also watching instructional tape, from our new coaches here, just stuff from Green Bay, the protections that we have now versus last year and stuff like that. So again, the coaches have done a great job, teaching me and teaching everyone else just our protections and stuff like that. So.
Justin Fields, our guest here on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. This is Bears All Access, brought to you by IGS Energy. All right, let's get into the roster a little bit because your weaponry, a lot of new faces. The bond that you and Darnell, I was impressed with him the moment I shook his hand.
Yeah.
He's a professional already.
Yeah.
As a young guy, he's a professional. So you guys are bonding that way. I believe you're the same exact way. You guys both want to be great. You've stated it. And I know a lot of players do that when they come into the league, but there's action that's involved with it. For sure. He's putting it to action. You're putting it to action. Now you got a guy like N'Keal Harry, uber talented. I mean, he's as big as Roquan Smith, fast. Getting a second chance, bonding with a guy like that. All these different veterans coming in, and then you got the tight end group, some newbies. Cole Kmet, big takeoff year for him. Maybe more red zone opportunities and whatnot. You fitting in this offense with your mobility. You were an outstanding outside the pocket quarterback last year and making plays on the run. You were the number 1 rated quarterback in the NFL. You didn't get as many opportunities, but you were number 1 according to Pro Football Focus. How do you blend all that together and you own this? This is your team. This is the Bears offense with all these different pieces to the puzzle and just working together.
Yeah, I think, we have a lot of guys that have a lot of playmaking ability, the potential to, be big players. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be, finding out what we do best as a team, what we do best as an offense, running those plays and getting even better at them and, executing those plays in games, in situations. And just making those plays when it comes down to it. When it's third down, when it's a 2 minute before the half, 2 minute at the end of the game. So it's just practicing those situations in practice. Going through it and seeing what guys can do, what we do best as an offense, and going out in the game and executing those plays just like we do in practice.
Coach talked about it's going to be a tough camp. Mm-hmm. Put it in everybody's head the moment he got hired. What did you do? Or have you added any? I know Rod Marinelli came to speak to you guys as well, talked about putting on the armor. You're a gym rat anyway. You love the weight room. But are you shaped any different way? Or are you heavier, lighter? What is it?
I'm lighter, and I lost from the time we left, I lost about 2% body fat. So I'm way about, 221, 222 now, and I have about 8% body fat. So I lost a little bit of body fat, and I actually didn't lift as much, this offseason. I kind of just, got my mobility better and, was just running really. So, yeah.
Justin, when you look at the course of practice, you have one-on-ones with your receivers, you have 7-on-7 with your receivers, and then you have teamwork with all 11. Does the all 11 teamwork benefit you the most because the rush is involved, or do you learn little intricacies about the receivers that you're working with through one-on-ones and 7-on-7 as much as teamwork?
Yeah, I think one-on-ones is a, good example or good, test for the receivers just to see, how well they do in one-on-one matchups because, of course, playing in the NFL, there's going to be a lot of one-on-one matchups. So, seeing what guys can win one-on-one, seeing what guys I can just throw the ball up to, 50-50 chances, hopefully they come down with it most of the time where it's just an incomplete pass. But, just seeing, those guys, make plays and make contested catches, I think, one-on-one, 7-on-7, and team, I think, all of them, I can learn from them, learn how, they're thinking and kind of just just learn the different ways, because in 7-on-7 you're not getting that much blitzes. So of course, when blitzes happen when we go 11-on-11, there's stuff that the receivers will do if somebody blitzes from their side. So I'm just seeing if they're grasping that, grasping just the way our offenses ran, and just seeing if they're executing it on the field. I think you can learn a lot from 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, and of course 11-on-11 too. So just all of those in practice, and just seeing those guys perform, it's going to be great. Just learning them.
Receivers, man, they can talk a lot like the defensive backs and stuff. Is there any receivers where you got to, hey, man, I got you. I understand that they want to talk to you every time they come back to the line of scrimmage after you run a play? Or is it kind of digest all the new information that you're being fed and just kind of get a better understanding of it before, what is it, September 11th, the first regular season game?
Yeah, I mean, we all talk, of course, and it's the biggest thing is just being on the same page. So if we might not connect on one route, or they were thinking a different thing, we'll just walk up to each other after the play, and of course I would see what he was thinking, and of course give my input on what I was thinking or what I thought he the receiver would do, and we'd go back to the drawing board and fix it. And it's really just that simple, just kind of making sure that we're on the same page, so I know what they're doing, and of course they know what I'm thinking.
Remaining moments with Justin Fields, kind enough to join us here on Bears All Access on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. Tom Thayer, Jeff Joniak. All right, a couple of wrap-ups, and then we'll do some quick hitters, fun stuff. All right, just kind of put a bow on this. What do you tell the fans about what's next for this team? Because they don't know the team, we don't know the team.
Yeah.
Heck, you guys don't even know what it's all going to look like.
Yeah.
So many new faces, but everybody I've spoken to that is putting on a helmet and pads has had the same thought. Just watch. Just wait. Don't knock us down the road a little bit here. Just wait and see what we got for you. How would you put it?
I mean, yeah. I can promise the fans just one thing, just the culture and kind of our mindset of our team. It's all the same, and we don't care what everybody else is saying, because we know what we do in the building. We know what we can do as a team, and as long as we get all three phases going, offense, defense, and special teams, and just the effort and the finish that we're going to play with, they're going to see that. And at the end of the day, it's who can execute when it's time to execute, and who's going to make plays when it's time to make plays. So again, I mean, the fans are going to see that regardless on who's going to make plays, and we're going to make plays. We're going to cause turnovers on defense. We're going to score. We're going to be masters at situational football. So all of that, just putting all of that, in, our game, and making sure that, we are executing at, all three phases. I think, the sky's the limit for our team, and, what we can do.
And what does Justin Fields want?
I want a Super Bowl. That's all I want. I don't care if, I don't care what happens. I want a Super Bowl, and of course I want to beat the Packers. So that's really the only thing I want in life right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, quick five. We do this for all the guys. All right, you got a bucket list item?
Like just for anything or what?
Life.
Super Bowl.
A Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the only thing I want right now. Just one, and of course, once I get that one, I'm gonna win another one. But right now, it's just one Super Bowl. That's all I want.
Have you had a moment in your life that you were starstruck?
I don't think I have, actually. I don't think I've been starstruck by anybody.
But the funny thing is, when little kids come up to you and stuff, they're starstruck.
I know, and I love seeing their reactions, because kids are so funny when, of course, they see someone they look up to, and just, because they don't think about what anybody's thinking. They just, full of excitement and full of happiness. So it's always good seeing kids meet people that they look up to.
I just saw a picture, Tom, of Jim Kelly as a little boy going up to Terry Bradshaw for an autograph. It's a great picture. Yeah. Favorite meal?
Favorite meal? You see, I can't, choose that one, because I like too many foods, and of course, you
gotta give me one. Give me something. Right. I gotta have a dish.
I've been eating a lot of acai bowls lately.
Oh yeah.
I know that's not a dish or a meal, but those are really good. So that's kind of my go-to snack for sure.
Do you have a prized possession?
Prized possession? Just my dog, really.
I like it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, simple.
Simple, but important. All right, thank you so much. Have a great year. Stay healthy, and we'll be looking forward to see what it all looks like. With Tom Thayer, Jeff Joniak will continue with Bears All Access after this on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. See your Chicago Bears at Soldier Field on August 9th for the Meyer Bears Family Fest. Tickets just $10. Get yours at chicagobears.com. Jeff Joniak, Tom Thayer from Hallis Hall. Get you ready for the Bears 2022 season. Couple of practices in the books today. Tom, Eddie Jackson had a couple of nice plays. This is what he told media today, what he wants from this season.
I just want to be better than I was last year. And that's it. Be a better leader. Go out there and make plays, and win. I really eliminated the personal goals this year. It was just more overall like helping the team, come in and be a better version of myself. And I know I'm a vet now, one of the oldest guys in the room. So a lot of young guys look up to me, and I got to lead from the front. How I prepare, how I work, how I'm in meetings, how I walk around the building, how I attack the weight room. Just all that type of stuff. And I feel like everything else will fall in line.
Tom, you like what you're hearing?
Yeah, I do, because I want Eddie Jackson to return to that playmaking guy that we got to know him early in his career. And I do think it can benefit the defense, obviously, and I think they'll put him in a position to be that playmaker. And I'm glad you leave all these personal goals behind, because the only goal that's important, like Justin talked about moments ago, is winning a Super Bowl. And that's the greatest achievement in sports that any individual can have. And so if Eddie's actions lead to that defense playing better and getting themselves in contention to win a division and win the Super Bowl, that's all I care about.
I like what he has to say when he lead from the front, because
right.
Even though he's on the back end of the defense, he knew he kind of had to take some control of the situation here. It's a clean slate for him, just like everybody else. He's in the midst of a big contract, but some of those guys up front, those big personalities like the Akeem Hickses of the world. Not that Khalil Mack had a outward personality in terms of being a rah-rah guy. He was a big personality amongst the team. So a guy of his experience and a two-time Pro Bowler, Eddie Jackson is a good guy to help some of those young guys transition. Heck, he was Brisker once, not that long ago.
Yeah. But Jeff, when the early competition comes in the Soldier Field or an away game, they're going to challenge Eddie Jackson, because they're not going to listen to his interviews and they're going to say, oh, man, this guy, I assume that he's going to be a completely different player. They're going to go after him and say, okay, if we have a successful interior run and that running back, fullback gets to the third level, is Eddie Jackson willing to step in the way and make a big tackle? If we challenge him with the tight end or our third receiver and he has coverage responsibility at the line of scrimmage, can he coverage, and is he willing to break up the pass before it turns into a completion? So no matter what he says now early in this preseason, he's still going to be tested throughout the regular season.
Played a lot of man snaps last year, 12th highest in the league, but the Colts safeties, obviously in a cover two situation, and in this defense, play zone a heck of a lot more, probably triple the amount or double at least. And that's really we're going to see across the board a lot more a lot more zone. Whereas even Jalen Johnson last year played a lot of man. Eyes are going to be on the football, and that's hopefully going to lead to more takeaways. That's for sure. Here's another thing too. You talked about the buy-in. Obviously, you have to have it if you want to have a successful team and a team that's dialed in, and it appears to be the case. And there was that pretty quickly, according to Jackson.
The type of coaches we have, it's 100%. I feel like it's me and everybody. We bought in 100%. We went through the OTAs phase. You just seen like the first month we was here, just like how the coaches is. They have their best interests. Like coaches hitting you up, asking how the fam. Just touching on stuff outside of football. So that right there lets someone genuinely care about you. And when you go in the meeting room, it's more easier for when they say a message or something. It's easier for you to take that message and run with it. But I feel like right now it's 100%. They got our trust.
And that trust hopefully will pay off.
Yeah, but the team, the Chicago Bears fans, Chicago Nation, they suffered last year because of what they went through. And I think when you have this change of a culture and you bring in the Ryan Poles and the Matt Eberflus and these guys that are paid their dues to be awarded the position that they've been put in. They're here to win. They're here to win divisions. They're here to win Super Bowl. So, listen, man, as soon as Matt Eberflus the first time at the podium talked about running shoes, I wanted to see if it was going to carry through all the way into and through training camp. And it has so far. So the message was clearly delivered. It was believed by the players, and now it's being delivered. And I think it builds more faith and trust in what they see going forward.
Yeah, it may have been only an hour in 30-minute practice, something like that today. It'll get longer, and when they get into the pads portion of it. But this is the ramp-up period, and just talking to Darnell Mooney today, the guys were gassed. I mean, even though they thought they were ready, they were running a lot today.
Dude, it's nonstop. I don't, you go back from coming off of 6 weeks of a mini vacation before the season starts, and day one practice, you're running for a solid 90-plus minutes. And some of those guys stay out after practice and put in a little extra work. It's super fatiguing. But then Monday, when they come out there and they got thigh pads in, knee pads in, shoulder pads on, a little bit more air in your helmet, your fingers taped up, it's going to even be more exhausting. But they're going to be thankful that they put in the work thus far, so they're able to get through the practice with the equal amount of effort that they have so far this preseason.
All right, speaking of Mooney and the connection with Justin Fields, there is a respect for way Justin is leading out of the gate to start this season as the number one quarterback.
Yeah, true. With him just being more vocal and just having the, understanding that he is the guy and that this is his team. So he brings in, like we were just outside after practice just throwing routes, and everybody just seeing, you have some guys that see him walking over, and just seeing him walk over just to get more reps, you can't just walk off the field. You have to see him okay, I gotta get some more reps in with him because the way he moves, everybody else, has to go with him or we won't go anywhere. So Justin's a good guy, great player, great work ethic, and he can't do it all by himself. We gotta work with him, everybody.
I love that line. Wherever he moves, we got to go with him. So if Justin wants to stay after practice, guys should stay after practice. Now, the first couple days, last two guys off the playing field, way after everybody else left. Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, also Cole Kmet in that mix as well.
But, another reflection from receiver to quarterback, Jeff, when we were on the field and Darnell Mooney caught a pass for about 27, 28 yards, and then he ran an extra 30, 35 yards after the catch, and the defensive backs were chasing him. He wanted to get in the end zone because he wanted to complete that pass all the way into the end zone. It's kind of that mentality that you get ingrained in your head. Those are the type of conditioning extra efforts that helps everybody. You got the defensive backs chasing him. You got Darnell Mooney running full speed. You have a great over-the-middle type of catch. So those types of efforts, it's not only for Justin, it's not only for Darnell Mooney, it's for the entire team. And so it is really exciting to see what you do during practice, but then that extra effort that you give after practice to make sure that you're on the same page and every minor detail of this offense, it's going to be beneficial in the long run.
Another guy dialed in, N'Keal Harry, Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, impressed.
Read about a guy, right, and you're in the draft process, and then and all that stuff, but when he gets in front of you, and you're like, whoa, this dude's he's a big, thick dude. He's an impressive guy, but even more impressed with his mentality, how he came in here. He came in here with a purpose, and to be here for a week basically. And grab that playbook and to be as far along as he is already, very impressed with how he's approached this thing.
Could be a heck of an acquisition, Tom.
Well, you know what, Jeff, we got to hold a roster on our hand during practice because you're just not 100% familiar with every single number. And the Bears ran a screen out there, and I watched one of the wide receivers come in and make an impressive block. And I did have to look down at my roster, and it was N'Keal Harry. And so, yeah, if he's a target catching passes down the field, that is where you want to probably see him the most. However, this offense is never going to get going if you don't have the willingness for these big wide receivers to throw blocks downfield. So as an offensive lineman going out and make blocks on screens, that's what we're paid for. But now when you see these wide receivers go out and the willingness to put their body in front of a defender to give David Montgomery an extra 6-8 yards on a screen, man, I'm all for it.
All right, we're going to take our last break of the show. Tom Thayer, Jeff Joniak here on Bears All Access. It's brought to you by IGS Energy on 670 The Score. This segment of Bears All Access is brought to you by CDW. People who get it. Final moments with Tom Thayer, Jeff Joniak here on Bears All Access. And let's talk Cole Kmet because we've been talking a lot about Cole Kmet. What he likes about the offense unveiled today.
Well, we hit people next week, so we'll know pretty soon. What I like about it is that you can do a lot of things off the run for the pass, and I think that sets up well for tight ends and receivers. And you get guys on your heels. You get guys running. You're getting off the ball, and it's a fun run system. I mean, you can see that with San Francisco. You know how Minnesota's been running it. So definitely friendly for not only tight ends but the offensive line as well, and it can help receivers get open in the pass game.
And he likes being a Y. He said that before. He likes digging in to dig out some guys too in the blocking scheme of it. Tom, he also knows what it's going to take to get to the next level.
Yeah, I think just progressing every day. It's just taking a step every day, knowing what I'm doing in this offense and establishing myself with the coaches here and obviously with Justin. That's my main thing, and doing that every day. And I think I can get to where I want to go if I stay to that and keep progressing. I think for me, I'll know with my communication with coaches and Justin, like that's the main thing there.
It is, but first of all, you got to run the ball well. All these big ideas and all these big goals of this offense, it's predicated on the fact that there's run concern by your opponent. If they're concerned with stopping the running game, then it's going to open all these downfield opportunities for Cole, for Justin, and every receiver on that team. So that is going to be instrumental in the overall success of this offense.
We don't have time, but the nickel position is going to be a nice battle as well. Kyler Gordon playing outside, but also kicked inside today, Tom, for a few reps as well.
He's an exciting player. He's got a good athleticism. He's got good feet. You get the knowledge of this defense, and I think that it's a position to be earned.
Tom, we're out of time. Thanks, buddy.
Oh, darn.
We'll see you next week. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to our special guest, quarterback Justin Fields, our producers Jordan Tredup, Dan Barilli, and Cesar Perez. Down the line with Cody Decker coming up next, followed by an 8:10 pregame start with Zach Zaidman and the fellas for Cubs-Giants in San Francisco. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for listening. This has been Bears All Access, brought to you by IGS Energy on Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score.
Thanks for listening to this Chicago Bears Network presentation of Bears All Access. Podcasts are available on chicagobears.com and on iTunes, or download the official Bears mobile app. Bears All Access has been brought to you by IGS Energy and sponsored by Miller Lite.